Malton School is a small rural 11 to 18 school, just over 900 students. We serve a large rural catchment, almost 20 miles in any direction, fully inclusive, full range of special educational needs and socio-economic needs. I remember it was the 16th of March 2020 when we had the first inkling that there might be a lockdown and schools closed. And you've got to remember that, you know, this hadn't happened, I think, even in the wars. You know, we hadn't had school closures for this period of time. So we had 5 days, 5 working days to plan it. And what we did was we made sure that we wanted to know that we had 100% coverage of all students. And that was Wi-Fi coverage. So we went out and purchased some Wi-Fi dongles for the relatively small number of families that didn't have good internet access. And we also made sure that the relatively small number of iPads that had some issues, cracked screens and so on, they were all fixed. So we did all that in 5 days. So we knew by Friday the 20th of March that we had got set up 100% coverage. And what that meant was on the first day of lockdown, on Monday the 23rd of March 2020, that all of our students were registered at 8:45 in the morning for lesson 1 as normal, but it was all blended learning. It was all done online, remote learning, and they had to register for every single lesson, complete the work, submit the work back. At that point, in the first lockdown, we were using Shobi, so all the students were handing work back in Shobi and the staff were marking and providing feedback using Shobi. And the parents had an automated email each evening using our MIS system to let them know how well their child had done or not. It was a frantic 5 days, but we weren't delivering boxes and boxes of photocopied worksheets round to people's homes. You know, we were fully and rightly into the 21st century, and it was all flicking a switch and going on to remote learning.
So within the maths department, lockdown hasn't had too much of an impact. We've been able to continue delivering our schemes of learning as we planned. With the iPads, we've been able to again demonstrate during lockdown some complex mathematics through apps like Desmos, through OneNote, through Teams, through Integral, so students have not been left on the back foot at all.
Yeah, the iPads really helped with remote learning because from day one we were ready to go. We had the iPads there, we had Teams there, we had Shobi there, so we could deliver these live lessons remotely. We still had the communication links with our teacher in our class. Pretty much all of my history coursework was done in remote learning while we didn't have any communication with our teachers, and it still went as well as it could do.
As far as I think possible, it was seamless in terms of the remote learning, and that actually developed through the course of it as we started using different apps. And we came on to more live learning through it. So I think for the students and for the staff, it meant that the remote working and you know the education that we all want to see happening was very, very much helped by the iPads. There are certain things that we've done in the past, for example, running revision sessions, which certain students might struggle to come to. We no longer would need to run those necessarily. For example, after school, in the school building, we could run one remotely at a time that suits more people. It could be recorded and then students who can't make it can see that. So the remote learning side of the iPad has been fantastic.
The iPad has helped with remote learning during lockdown as we've had our lessons delivered to us while other schools haven't been able to. We've had team calls to have lessons given and the notes and work on different apps scanned in, so it's been really helpful.
Yeah, I think that the skills we've learned with the iPads and the iPads themselves are going to be phenomenally helpful at university. And it's important to remember that the iPads didn't just excel during lockdown. When we had them in regular lessons, they still excelled then. So I think they're great for things like note-taking, they're great for things like research. They're obviously very portable, so you can take them all around with uni. So I'm really looking forward to taking my iPad to uni and using it there.
Some days I had 3 or 4 live lessons, so I'm logging on, getting taught by the teacher, and even if they then say, oh, go off and do this work, I've been given like the direct instructions, I know what I'm doing, they know what to expect by the end of the day, so I submit my work and then they can come back, and it's a lot easier for the teachers as well because they can see if we haven't done it and therefore they can chase us up and get it back quickly. So it's definitely consistency throughout the whole thing's really helped.
Yeah, and outside of lockdown as well, I find it particularly useful for homework as well, because you're not having to take home loads and loads of sheets. As I said before, it can be distributed really easily.
Just at the click of a mouse, the whole class has got the
you can
sheets,
see
so.
everything you ever need, all the sheets, all the worksheets, or your exercises, it's all in the same place. And that is a really valuable thing to have as a student.
So easy to navigate and everything, and that's like one of the pitfalls usually, and it's been straight to the point, everyone knows where they're going for it, and it's the same place each lesson with a new title, so we just know where to go straight away.
Parents wrote tremendous messages of thanks to the school for our ability to keep children on track. And it meant that we were able to consciously continue with the curriculum and keep delivering the curriculum during that time, such that our learning gap, identified through a new range of baseline assessments at the end of the lockdown, did show to us that we hadn't lost the kind of ground. Our young people had not lost the learning ground that seemed to be the case nationally.